Tennis trading on Betfair is the subject for this video, and more specifically we're going to be looking at strategies that involve laying the first set winner. Laying the first set winner is one of the most profitable ways to trade tennis, and it is also a pretty simple way to trade this sport that even beginners should be able to pick up quite easily. So in this video coming up, I'm going to be explaining the lay the leader strategy. That is one of the most basic strategies that we use, which involves laying the first set winner. I'm going to explain in that strategy for you step by step on this video. I'm showing you when you should use it, the most profitable time to use it, and then I'm going to jump on the Betfair interface and trade some real life tennis matches on Betfair with this strategy, so you can actually see how it works in real life examples, right? I'm going to be giving you some typical newbie mistakes and also some warnings. If you are considering using this strategy, I'm going to be giving you a few warnings about it as well. And if you do stick around to the end, I'm actually going to give you a PDF to download and keep for absolutely free, which shows the same strategy that I'm showing you in this video. That is Lay the Leader, the basic version. So if you stick around to the end, I'll show you exactly how you can download that for free. I think this is going to be a very, very good video. Let's not hang around. Let's get into it. So in the tennis markets on Betfair, when a player wins the first set, in most cases, they instantly then become the favorite to win the match. And in a lot of cases, their price will go very, very short and sometimes heavily odds on when that happens. So that means that the majority of punters are backing that player. But what we're going to be doing is going against the markets. And anyone who knows my style of sports trading, you know that I love to go against the markets. It's where you find the best value opportunities. But of course, remember, for anyone who's new to this, we are not having a bet. We're having a trade, and very often laying the first set winner can be a great value entry point. Now, what we're basically doing is we're going to be laying the player who wins the first set with a view to profiting from a price swing if the losing player gets back into it. Okay, that is what we need. We need the losing player to get back into it. We don't necessarily need the losing player to win the second set. Okay, we don't necessarily need the losing player to go on and win the match. This is a trade. So what we're doing is we're laying the player who wins the first set, looking for the losing player to at least score a break point. That is what we need. A break point is enough to swing it in our favor. So basically, one of the reasons we're going to get into the market, as said a little bit earlier on, we're going against the markets, but we do need a good reason to believe that the markets have the prices wrong, because sometimes the prices will be accurate, but we need to believe that there is value in the market for us to take up this position. And at the same time, we also need to believe that the losing player is going to form a challenge. Sometimes the prices might look appealing, but sometimes you just realize that whatever player's losing, they've given up, and there's no point even opening the trade for this. And of course, we're not just going to lay whichever player wins the first set all the time. You're not going to get very far with that. As I said on the last slide, we need a good reason to believe that there is value. And if you've done your pre-match research good, then you could have a good indication that there's some value there. Sometimes you spot some stuff in place, and if your match reading is on point, you can spot opportunities via that. And a nice little gem as well is sometimes if the first set is really close, and then the market suggests that one player is an overwhelming favorite heading into the second set, then that can be a good opportunity too. But let's get into the lay the leader, the basic strategy. This is the most basic approach to this method. There are more advanced methods and approaches to this, which I'll get onto later on, but I'm going to give you the most basic strategy right now. And it is so basic, it is almost a two-step strategy, as you're going to see. So what we do is early in the second set, maybe right at the beginning of the second set, it's totally up to you, you would lay the player who won the first set. And then our aim is to exit for a profit if or when that player concedes a break point. And remember, you only need the break point to secure a profit. You only need the break point to secure a profit. We're not hanging around to hope that the losing player goes on to win the set, or we're going to stay until the end of the match. The break point is enough to give us a good price swing and to lock in a good return on our investment. So if the first set winner concedes a break point, then you're going to expect a pretty big move in your favor. And as I said, we don't need them to lose the set or whatever to make our profit. It is just the break point. But you have to keep in mind as well, this is not guaranteed that you're always going to profit that way. And if the winning player scores the next break point, or the losing player just does not perform for whatever reason, then you'd have to expect a loss. And the biggest loss would come if the winning player goes on to score another break point. And so one of the best times to employ this strategy, especially if you're a beginner, is definitely when the underdog wins the first set. This is probably the most common approach as well. But when the underdog wins the first set, you've got to expect that because they were the underdog, they might be a little bit nervous about holding that lead heading into the second set. And the favorite, because they were the favorite and the stronger player before the match, they might be even more fired up to get back into it. And very often when it is the underdog who wins the first set, sometimes you could be done with this trade within one game and there's no stress at all. So this is definitely the most common approach, and definitely if you're a beginner, it might be the best way to filter out these opportunities. But also keep in mind, even matchups can be quite good as well. We all know the markets can be pretty efficient when it comes to the starting prices with tennis, and when two players are priced pretty close to evens, it's a pretty good indication that these guys or women are pretty evenly matched. And so if one player wins the first set, you very often see the losing player get back into it and maybe level it up. And remember, we don't need them to level it up. We just need the break point. So even matchups are definitely something to look out for as well. And then here's a more advanced one, and it can be when a favorite wins the first set. Of course, this is a lot more advanced. You probably have to have really good match reading skills to spot when a favorite is being overpriced in play, because sometimes the favorites can win the first set, but you realize that they are playing nowhere near as good as the market suggests. And when you lay the favorite, there's a very low risk but very, very high reward. Now, if you're smart, you're probably looking at this and thinking, hey, hold on, he has just described almost every scenario that can come up at the end of the first set of a tennis match. You're either going to get the underdog winning, you're going to get an even matchup with one player winning the first set, or the favorite's going to win the first set. So basically what I'm saying is that you could use this strategy on any sort of match. You could use this strategy on any sort of match when a player has won the first set. But going back to the slide earlier on, there has to be an opportunity, and you have to believe that there is value in the market for you to get involved. Don't do this blindly. You will get nowhere, believe me. But anyway, what I want to do now is I'm going to jump on the Betfair interface. I'm going to show you some live trading examples of this strategy so you can see it for yourself. So this is a match between Gulbis and Albo, and Albo has just won the first set, and we can lay him here at 1.39. Now, before the match, Albo was the underdog. He's obviously won the first set, which now makes him the favorite, but he was the underdog before the match. So what I want to show you is, let's just bring up the chart. Let's have a look at Gulbis. We can see how strong a favorite he was. He was about a 1.60 favorites, around that. It's hard to kind of see on that Betfair chart, but it's been a very competitive first set, so you can't really say that Gulbis is completely off the pace. It's been very tight. It ended up going to a tie break. So that's what we have to look for. We have to look for things like that. We want to make sure that the favorite is not completely underperforming. We want to make sure there's still signs of life. So we're going to lay Albo 1.39, £100 stake, £39 is our risk, and we're going to aim to get out the market after the first break point. And ideally, we want that first break point to go to Gulbis. If it does, then we'll be in the money and we'll be looking at a profit. If Albo scores the first break point, we'll be looking at a loss. So as you can see, they're taking a rest. They're just about to begin the second set, and I'll give you an update very, very soon. So the second set has just begun, but something strange just happened. As you can see in the screen, the lights have gone out. The lights have gone out on the players. It's not something I see very often when you're trading tennis, but hey, when you trade tennis, you have to be prepared for everything. So let's see if we can get the lights back on and see if we can still make some money from this trade. Okay, so we got the break point in this one, but the break point was also the set point in this situation. So that was really, really good for us. We got a very, very nice swing on it. Doesn't usually work out like that. Usually you get the break back from the favorite quite early on in the second set, but we had to be quite patient for this one, and we had to wait for it. But there you have it. Remember, we laid Albot. I think I realized that's how you pronounce his name, but we laid him at 1.39. And yeah, we're going to get out 2.36, so quite a big swing. Just going to cash this out, and then I'm going to bring up the chart, and you can kind of see the situation down here. You can see the price swing, quite a very nice price swing. The lights went out, everything's gone down in this match. It's been a pretty crazy match, but yeah, we had to be very patient, and there you have it. I mean, we laid the underdog going into the second set. Usually you just need the break point to make a profit, but we got a bit of a double bubble there with the break point also being a set point. So that's great, but we'll have a look at some more examples so you can get a bit more of an idea of how it works out when you lay the underdog in the second set. So in this match here, Roberto has just won the first set, 7-6. So he's won this after a tie break, very tight stuff. And Roberto was the pre-match underdog. He started priced around 3. The favourite was around 1.5, Del Bonis. And it's been a very tight first half. Del Bonis was looking comfortable for a while, but then the tie break happened, and sometimes tie breaks can just go either way. So it could be a good opportunity to lay the underdog here. For sure, we're going to get in the market. I'm going to lay with £200. Lay him at 1.57. We're going to get matched there, 1.57. So £114 worth of risk in the market. Of course, we're not going to risk all of that. We're going to get out once there is a break point either way, and yeah, so we should be risking maybe half of that. Who knows how this second set will develop. But anyway, we're in the market with this. They're just taking a break. I'll give you an update once the second set gets underway. And first game of the second set, and it's an instant break back, as they call it in tennis. So we can just cash that out. We'll just cash that out very, very quickly. Just before the next game starts, and you'll see that we cashed out a £51 profit, which is like a 26% return on our stake, on the stake we used. So there you have it. I mean, when the underdog wins the first set, it can usually be pretty straightforward just to lay them heading into the second set. If the favorite comes back fired up heading into the second set, a lot of the time he can just get the quick break point, and then it's a very quick and easy profit, and the strategy does feel very, very painless when this happens. And here's an example of the drift, as you can see from the chart. But of course, it's not as simple as that. If it was as simple as that, we'll all be on the beach drinking rum punches. But it is just a good example of how the strategy works when you get it right. But the big problem when you do lay the underdog after they've won the first set is that when you get it wrong, you're going to be staring at a much bigger loss than you would in any other situation. So here we laid Wild. Let me just bring up the chart. We laid him around 1.67. He was an underdog of around 3. I think his starting price was. So we laid him at 1.67, £100 stake. He scored the first break point of the second set. And you can see his price has crashed into 1.24, and we're looking at a £36 loss to lock in. Now, what's interesting is that when you do lay the underdog, the type of loss you take is usually the profit you can lock in is not as big as the loss. So you do have to have a pretty high strike rate when you are laying the underdog, if it's the underdog you want to oppose after they win the first set. So there's something to keep in mind as well. So I'm just going to take the red on this one. This one didn't go to plan at all. And it is just one of the perils of laying the underdog, is that obviously it's a bit more high risk, and the loss you take is going to be bigger when compared to other situations. So the first set's just finished in this match. Munar has just won the first set. Now, this match is between two pretty evenly rated players. The starting prices of both the players were pretty close to evens. So these can be very good opportunities, very good leader opportunities, because the markets are expecting a pretty even matchup, and it could be a pretty tight second set as well. So we're going to lay Munar here at 1.4, and it's going to be a £100 stake, which is going to mean a £40 risk in the market. And as you know, like I've said in the video, we're keeping this basic. It's just a basic leader strategy. We're just in and out for the first break point. And as so often can happen when you have an even matchup, there is an early break point, and the leader has lost the lead. Well, not quite lost the lead, but they're trailing in this second set. So Cecchinato, the trading player, has just scored the break point. He's just gone 3-1 ahead. And you can see, remember, we laid Munar at 1.4. His price has risen to evens, and we can lock in a profit there of £31 over both outcomes. And this definitely does happen very often in even matchups like this. They win the first set, and then it's just an early break point to the other player in the second set. So these are definitely good opportunities to look out for. Make sure they're two evenly matched players before you get into it. And here you can see the price swing that happened there. So quick and easy, it's 3-1 in the second set, and we've locked in the profit. So the first set has just finished in this match, Jarry against Londero. I'm just going to bring up the chart. Well, that's not right. Hold on. Let me show you the chart on the player who's actually winning. That would help. So this is Londero's chart, and you can see this was actually quite an even matchup. The favourite wasn't a huge favourite. It is quite an even matchup, but the first set in the end has been quite one-sided. So what can happen in this instance is that the price on the leading player can go maybe a little bit lower than it should do when he's won the set really easily. But remember, before the match, this was an even matchup, apparently, according to the markets. And these can be sometimes these can be great opportunities. So what we're going to do, we're going to lay the winning player, the one who's won the first set, which is Londero, and we're going to go in there and lay him at 1.39. And you should see that matched. Yep. Okay, that's matched in the market. And it gives us £39 of risk. Now, we're going to see how the second set begins. And obviously, one of the great things about laying the first set winner is that more than likely, we're going to get to see a few service games, but to see if we want to confirm our decision. So we're in the market, but we don't have to stick with it fully. We could see how well Jarry bounces back, and if not. But we're in the market. Let's see what happens. And it is very important when you're using this strategy or any strategies that you do keep up with the match. Don't just lay the first set winner and then kind of hope for the best, because often you can see a lot of warning signs which kind of tell you whether you should get out of the market, or in this case it tells us to stick with it, because Jarry has been playing very well. Hasn't quite got the break point, but you can see the drift on Londero. We laid Londero at 1.39, and the price has gone out to 1.70. And it's almost a good enough price at the moment just to even take that profit. But we're going to see if Jarry can get the break point. But you can see, that look down here, this is where we enter the market. And there's been a big price drift because everyone else is spotting the opportunity to lay Londero at this point. So we're going to stick with it. Let's see if we can get the break point. Then we can lock in a decent profit from this trade. So here we are now. It is 5-4. We still haven't had that break of serve from Jarry, but I mean, Jarry's been very dominant in this, and you can see that there was a pretty big drift in that last service game from Londero. Price went up to 2.25. And I mean, to be honest, if I wasn't making this video, I probably would have taken the profit at that point. But I do want to stick to the principles of the video and just show you that we're going to get out after the first break point. But we might not even get the opportunity to do that, because if Jarry does break in this particular service game, he will score a break point. He'd also win the set at the same time. So it could be a pretty big swing in our favor, which would be good. But if he doesn't and it goes to 5-5, then we're in a bit of a danger zone, because if Londero then breaks, then our whole stake is going to be at risk. So this is pretty much the last service game we're going to stay in the trade for. We're probably going to be out of this one no matter what once this one's done. So we stuck with this one for quite a while, and we haven't had the break we wanted. So we're going to get out, and we're still going to take a profit. We're still going to take some sort of profit from this, even though we didn't exactly get the break point. It hasn't exactly gone to plan. But it's a good example to show you in this video, because it does show you that there was plenty of opportunity to take bigger profits if you did want to at one point. But also you can see the market was never really against us. We were never really under threat at any point. And when that happens, you should try and stay in the market for as long as possible and try and get that break point to stay in the market with and make a bigger profit. But in the end, we've taken a small bit of money, like a 9% return on our stake, which is not bad. So we'll just have to move on with that. But it is a good example to show you that you don't always have to get the break point to actually profit with this when you're laying the first set winner. A lot of people think when you lay the first set winner, you need that player to lose the first set or to concede a break point to make a profit. But here, you can see we've actually still made a profit despite no break points being scored. So anyway, that was just a quick example. Let's take a look at another one. So the first set's just been completed in this one, and Songa has won the first set, and he was the favorite. So that's what we're going to do in this one. We're going to lay the first set winner, and Songa was a favorite. He was 1.65 starting price in this one, and as you can see, we could lay him at 1.18. So that's one of the big upsides of when you're laying the first set winner who is a favorite, is you get a much lower price and much lower risk. So we're going to go in and we're going to lay Songa here, £200, going to give us £36 worth of risk in the market. And yeah, they're just taking a break, and then the second set is going to begin. So I'll give you an update as and when something develops. And there we have it. Gilles Simons broke straight away in this second set, and we didn't really have to sweat for that. We just lock in the profit. So you can see that we locked in, we had a £36 worth of risk in the market. But of course, we're trading. We're never going to let it the whole £36 be risked. But we've locked in £36. So when you think about what the risk was, it's almost 100% return on the investment. But of course, we weren't going to risk the £36. We're probably going to risk about half of that, which maybe makes it around a 200% return on the investment. Either way, you can see that it is really, really good. There are opportunities laying the first set winner in tennis, even when it's the favorite, and you do have to keep that in mind. Now, what you have to also keep in mind is this does not mean that Songa is not going to go on and win this match. He could easily level it and go on and win the match. Doesn't matter. We just wanted to get that bit of price movement, and we did get it. We did get it right there. So just a quick example of laying the first set winner when it is the favorite. You can see it can be pretty low risk and high reward. So the first set's just been completed in this one, and Kachanov won the first set and was the favorite for this match as well. Quite a short price favorite as well, 1.3. Now, what is interesting is that Kachanov was playing really, really well, looking like he was going to win this first set very, very easily. Hold on, before I tell you the story, let's get in the market. Let's get in the market. Let's just get in the market. I just see they're just about to start the second set. So we're going to lay Kachanov here. And I got a match there at 1.14. So I'm just going to explain the reason why we're getting in the market. Kachanov, he was doing really, really well, looking like he was going to win this first set very comfortably, but then he had quite a bit of a wobble, and he needed a tiebreak to win that first set. So it is fair to say that he is not playing as well as the markets would have expected for being such a short price of being 1.30 at the start of the match. And this match is actually a lot closer than the markets would have you believe. He's 1.14 to back at this current moment. So these are the opportunities you want to look for when you want to lay the first set winner, and you want to lay that first set winner when they're the favorite, especially because obviously when you're laying them when they're the favorite, you're going to have a low strike rate. So we want to look for the very best opportunities, and we feel like we spotted one here. So let's see what happens with this second set's just begun. The trailing player and the underdog Berrettini is serving. He's leading 30-love, and I'll give you an update as something develops. And there you have it. We got the break point in this one. It's now 4-2. Berrettini is leading 4-2 in this second set. And so we got the break point. Just a matter of cashing out. And just press that cash out button there. And remember, the risk was £28, but of course we weren't going to risk the whole 28. We were probably going to risk around half of that, around £14. But we managed to lock in a £40 profit, or 42 if I can even this out. So it just shows you the nice rewards you can get when you lay the first set winner when it is the favourite. And you did see it was a pretty good opportunity in my view. It was such a tight first set. It really could have gone either way. Very, very even match, but the markets still had Kachanov as a strong favourite for whatever reason. But that is what tennis trading is all about. It's spotting moments in the match when the markets could just be a little bit wrong, and then profiting from the price correction, which has happened in this case. You see, that's where we enter the market around 1.13, I think it was, and you saw the drift and the correction. Now, wouldn't surprise me if Kachanov gets himself together and goes on to win the match from here, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to us tennis traders. We've locked in the profit. And that is it for all the live trading examples of Lay the Leader Basic. Remember, in a moment, I'm going to show you how you can download the PDF so you can follow along and try it out for yourself. But now you've seen the clips, you've kind of seen all the different scenarios as well. You've seen what happens when the underdog wins the set and we get involved. You also saw the losing example of that. I showed you an even matchup example, and I also showed you a couple of trades when we laid the favorite when they've won the first set. So based on what you've seen, you can now decide which scenario you want to get involved in, and you can look to try and spot some opportunities. But I do believe if you're a beginner, you're better off just sticking to these two, either getting involved when an underdog wins the first set or when you've got a real even matchup. I think that you're going to have the best success early on, especially when you're trying to learn the market behavior. This is probably the best starting point. So do keep that in mind. And inside my premium tennis trading course, Ultimate Tennis Trading, I take this particular strategy and I raise it up a few notches. And that is the basis behind strategy 2 that is in the package, and that is called the boomerang method. And it's a much more advanced approach to laying the leader. Today I showed you the basic version, but inside the course I have the more advanced approach, and in that I will show you how you can spot the best opportunities. I show you how you can spot the opportunities using pre-match research. I show you how you can spot opportunities to use this method just based on some in-play indications as well. And then I also show you how to know when to get out of the market when the trade is going to go against you, and how to maximize the wins when it is going really in your favor. And then also I include my 3 strikes rule for this strategy, which will allow you to cut the losses short and race the winners to the maximum. So if you are interested in taking your tennis trading to the next level, I only open doors to this course twice per year, but I'm hoping to open the doors again very soon. And there is a link in the description for the waiting list and more details about it. So do check that out. And also, don't forget, because you stay till the end, I'm also giving you this. I'm giving you Lay the Leader Basic. So you can just download the PDF and you don't have to refer to this video constantly. You can just download the PDF and then check it out and then give this strategy a go. Keep the stakes small. Please keep the stakes small. Don't go in with more money than you can afford to lose. Keep it small, learn the markets, and then when you're ready to take it up a notch, remember, like I said, just put your name on the waiting list and I send you more details when the doors do open. So the link for this is in the description. I'm also going to leave the link to this in the comments section too. But that is about it. And remember, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more sports trading videos, I also cover a lot of football trading too, then just hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well, so you're the first to know when new videos come out. And as you can see on the screen, there's some more videos for you to check out right now. Click on those and check them out, and I will see you in the next video.